everybody, and welcome back to the Big Knick Energy Podcast. Our Knicks are on a bit of a run right now, 3 wins in a row, 4 out of the last 5 going back to Philly. We're recording this a couple hours before the Suns and Knicks tip off in Phoenix, so hopefully it'll be 4 in a row and 5 out of 6 after this. Marky, how you doing, buddy?
Feeling good. That was a nice little 3-game win streak we got going there. Hopefully 4 after tonight.
It was. Anytime you can beat Brooklyn on the home and home, but really it's 2 homes for the Knicks. It's a good weekend.
Dude, that reminds me of when I used to live in New York City. I'm sure you did this too, like going to net games are a little bit cheaper.
So, yeah, did that in New York, and out here it's like when you go to the Knicks at Clippers game instead of the Knicks at Lakers game, it's like a quarter of the price.
Sure.
Maybe only half price now that the Intuit Dome is up and running. But yeah, no, the little brother teams always get you cheaper tickets, that's for sure.
Have you been to the Intuit Dome yet?
Not yet, no.
I'm excited to see it for the technology aspect.
I am. Hey,
things.
Fly out here for the Knicks game and we'll go together because I'll definitely be there for that.
MSG is so expensive that might be cost effective for me.
It might. Just a $200 commute each way. Hey, you're driving to New York from Baltimore. It might be cheaper to fly to LA than drive up. Price of gas these days.
Hey. I'm stoked. Let's kick this off.
Let's get into it. The premise of tonight's episode, we're not going to be super reactionary. Obviously, like I said, we're recording this before the Suns game. It'll come out after the Suns game, so we don't want to say anything too extreme that might change between now and then. So what we're going to do tonight is it's an episode of takes. We each prepared 2 hot takes and 2 cold takes, and we're going to deliver them. Hot takes are a little braggadocious, a little inflammatory, a little extreme, as we all know. I think we all know what a hot take is. Cold take is, something probably common sense, obvious, apparent. Maybe it's the status quo staying the same, but it's something that, hey, we're a podcast and we want to talk about it. So without further ado, I think by virtue of a coin flip, I won the first. I'm going to give 1. Marky's going to go 2. Then we're going to go 2, 2, 2. Back to me finishing with 1 last one. So it's a little bit of a 2-person snake draft, even though it's not a draft. Anything else you want to add before we get going into it, Marky?
No, I'm just really stoked. This team is they're looking better and better each day. I know it was crappy opponents. But you take care of business with crappy opponents, and the team just looks great right now. Everybody's gelling. Their hair's sticking up like Jimmy Neutron, all gelled up, ready to go. So let's go with these hot takes, baby. Let's go.
All right. Well, you just said that, but I'm actually going to start. Well, it's okay. So I have 1 extremely hot take, 1 extremely cold take, and then a hot take that's a little lukewarm and a cold take that's a little lukewarm. So I'm going to start with my lukewarm hot take. This is a hot take because it's definitely not what's happening right now. It will require Thibs to do something he doesn't always love doing. But that is that Tyler Kolek, even though he is only currently averaging 7.8 minutes per game, he will finish the season averaging over 15 minutes per game and be a key member of this Knicks rotation.
Oh, that's wild.
You think? All right, so hear me out.
For that to happen.
Hear me out. I looked back at our last 3 main rotation rookies. I'm sure that maybe this isn't there might be someone I'm forgetting. I didn't want to go back to RJ because he was the number 3 pick. But if you look at Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, and Quentin Grimes, who I feel like are the 3 rookies that Tyler Kolek kind of most resembles. Obi was only down at 11 minutes per game, but he was obviously playing behind Randall. So there wasn't a lot of minutes for him to get no matter what. Grimes averaged 17.1 minutes per game and Quickly averaged 19.4. Granted, there was a bigger need for a backup point guard. They didn't have someone like Campaign, but I also don't really like Campaign. Sorry, Knicks fans who love him. I think he's a fun heat check guy to bring off the bench on occasion, but I want my backup point guard to be someone who could run the offense a little better than that. And that's why I think as the season progresses, Tyler Kolek's going to carve out more of a role for himself. He's going to get some of Campaign's minutes. He's going to get hopefully some of Brunson minutes, not in terms of Brunson not being able to play, but just in terms of keeping Brunson fresh. I know Thibs hates that. But yeah, so I think Tyler Kolek, while he hasn't gotten much burn to start the season, I think by season's end, he's going to be one of the main members of this rotation.
That's a bold take, my friend. That's pretty cool. I think and admittedly, I don't focus too much on defense as much as one should. I obviously recognize when there's hustle and they're getting rotating on guys well. But Walt brought up during the broadcast that Kolek, if he played better defense, he would see more minutes because that's something Thibs looks for, especially with young guys, that if I'm going to give you minutes, you got to be able to play on both ends of the floor. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, that makes sense. And that's clearly where he needs to develop because his offensive game does look incredibly polished. I mean, all rookies need to adjust to playing NBA defense to some extent.
Sure.
At the same time, I think that's where Thibs has to start coaching because we need him to coach that defense because this is a team that's not his typical defensive minded team. Sure. Cat might be as great as Cat's been on offense. He might be the worst defensive big. Knicks have a top five. Is. Knicks have a top 5 league offense, but I think a bottom 10 league defense are close to it. So I think you could say that about just about anyone on the roster right now. I don't know where those improvements necessarily come from. Obviously, Kolek needs to put in the work, but I don't think he can really be singled out on that level when you're kind of seeing it from a lot of the team.
Agreed to that point. I saw a really damning stat about Cat's defense the other day, something that he's the worst in the league as far as allowing points in the paint or something like that. And it was like above and beyond. He was not good.
I think opponents are shooting like over 90% from
something
within
like that,
8 feet or at the rim. I don't remember the stat I saw.
Something like that.
But it was like, he's barely even there.
All right. Anyway, that's a good segue. To my, I guess it's all of my takes are not necessarily. Well, I got some hot takes, but my cold takes they're more lukewarmish, maybe even simmering a little. This one's the tamest, I guess, of them all, and it's kind of I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. 2 rookies will make the NBA rookie All-Star game. Forget the name of it.
I like how we're both starting off with rookie takes. We're starting young and I guess aging our way to the veterans.
Sure. We'll eventually get to Todd Gibson joining the team. Get really old.
That's an extra credit take, maybe.
No, but whether it's Hakporti, Dadier, or Kolek, I think a couple of these dudes, and even to your point, if Kolek starts to see the floor more and play like we've glimpsed him playing, same thing with Hakporti with his huge game against the Nets.
Sure.
That dunk still lives in my brain. I'm sure it lives in a lot of Knicks
absolutely
fans' brains. What's your thoughts on that?
I like it. I don't know how they're doing the Future Stars game this year. I know in the past they've
Future Stars
way back when they've done East versus West. I think they've done obviously they've done first year versus second year. I think they've done USA versus the world. If they do USA versus the world, Hakporti and Dadier are probably much easier to get in.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. But bigger pool to play from, and everybody's talking about the rotation needs to be deeper. Thibs can't play just the 7 guys he's been playing so far, especially with the weight he's been putting on the starters. If that rotation is going to get deeper, it has to be from these rookies stepping up and earning their minutes. And if they step up and earn their minutes and get their minutes, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be playing on the Friday night of All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, and you know what? We've kind of seen Thibs, and maybe it was due to a back-to-back, start to let the younger guys play a little bit more, so let's see how that goes.
I like it. What do you got next for us?
Ooh, okay. Man, I'm going to catch so much shit for this one. And all I want to preface it with is I'm saying, would you be shocked if Jalen Brunson got snubbed for the All-Star team this year?
Whoa, that is flaming.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think it's a 98%.
I think you need to be kicked off this podcast just for suggesting it. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, baby, I'm doing this for clicks. All right,
we're engagement farming hard right now. Just betraying every Knicks fan and the leader of our team. I would be shocked if that happened. Why don't we just sandwich that with my next one? I'm emptying the clip of my hot takes, saving the cold takes for the back half, because I have an all-star take as well that I think is kind of the antithesis and flies in the face of what you just said.
Okay.
And that is that if my research is accurate, and I'm not saying it's 100%, I could be wrong, but if my research is accurate, my hottest of hot takes for this episode is that the Knicks become the 7th NBA team in history to send 4 All-Stars to All-Star Weekend. And one of them is most certainly Jalen of House Brunson.
Of House Brunson. Okay.
I think we're getting Brunson.
Who's the 4?
I think we're getting Cat. I think OG's establishing himself hard, and if he stays healthy until February, I think his defense, his dunks, his threes, he's becoming an incredible player for this team. I think he's 3, And then wild card, I think in the kind of Draymond Green All-Star spot, key member of a key winning team, we're getting Josh Hart at All-Star Weekend. Josh Hart, you are the heart and soul of this team. And when you're as good of a team as I think the Knicks will be in the standings by February, those 3 or 4 All-Star selections start to become realistic. So my hot take is 4 New York Knicks All-Stars for the 2024-2025 season. And get this no Jalen Brunson All-Star take out of here.
You literally went polar opposite from my take.
Literally polar opposite.
I don't even believe in my take. My take was just, would you be shocked? I mean,
so you're one of those guys just saying things with no conviction for the clicks. I know you just said you weren't, but all right.
Anyway, hold on.
Colin Coward over there.
You have said some offensive shit to me in my life. That was up there. Call me Colin Coward.
No, but I mean, I think
if Josh Hart to me sounded the most outlandish, but realistically, if I let that melt in my brain and he, does start averaging maybe a triple double, and they're not gaudy triple doubles. You know, I know we've talked about it, how it's like
let's hold triple double talk to later. I want to come back to that at the end, but yeah, no, I mean, look. Brunson's one of the top 10 players in the NBA, hands down, no questions asked. Finished top 5 in MVP voting. There are 5 guys you can put in that list. Tatum, Anthony Davis is having an insane year. KD, I don't know how KD is as old as he is. He looks like prime KD right now. Other guys round out the top 10, but I think Jalen Brunson is firmly in it. The Knicks are one of the NBA's most marquee franchises.
Sure.
His stats can take a dip in favor of servicing the other members of his team. I mean, that's what not just a leader, but one of the 3 best point guards in the NBA should be doing. I think his assist numbers keep going up. And if anything, an earlier version of my takes had Jalen Brunson having his lowest scoring season in like 3 or 4 years since he joined the Knicks, because I think his scoring average is going to keep going down. He'll still have the occasional 30, 40-point game here and there, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot more 15 to 20-point games from Brunson as he feeds OG, as Cat has gone from Cat was probably down to one of the top 40 players. He's probably one of the top 25 this season. I mean, what he's doing shooting-wise, what the high screen pick and roll with him and Brunson is insane. It might be the most lethal play in the NBA. I think those two are a complete lock. I think OG's off to a strong start and really trying to put his name out there as a guy in that regard after that max deal. And then I think Hart makes it as the glue guy, kind of that Derek White all-star from a year ago. We saw the Celtics get a ton of all-stars because they were running away with the best record in the NBA. I don't know that the Knicks are necessarily going to be that in the standings by February, but I think they'll be clearly cut one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the NBA by the time the All-Star break rolls around, and with injuries, with coaches' love, with fan love, with everything it takes to get into that game, I think 4 All-Stars is a remote possibility. And real quick, just to give the research. I might have missed some. I believe all of these are right. I checked to the best of my abilities. The 75 Celtics had Havlicek, Dave Cowens, JoJo White, and Paul Silas. The 83 Sixers had Dr. J, Moses Malone, Mo Cheeks, and Andrew Toney. The 98 Lakers had Shaq, Kobe, Eddie Jones, and Nick Van Exel. Nick the Quick. Very underrated. I used to love Nick Van Exel.
Me too.
The recent ones are a little more crazy, at least 2 of the 3. The 2006 Pistons had both Rasheed and Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, and Richard Hamilton. Gotta love Rip Hamilton. The 2011 Celtics makes sense. Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. The team that makes the least sense out of this list is the 2015 Hawks, who had Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap, and Al Horford. Shout out to Demon Deacon Jeff Teague, but those are 4 names that you would not expect to see on an all-star roster together. But I think the Knicks are team number 7.
Making a roster one year, and it's like, Teague, was an all-star, 2 or 3 times. Not all 4 on the same Hawks team.
No, not at all. I think that was that nuts. Team that they were winning a bunch of games and 1 or 2 in the East, maybe at the first half of the season. That was just, some better than the parts. So the whole, whatever that saying is, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Sum of its parts,
yeah. There you go. I know English.
About Brunson, point production going down this year with more mouths to feed. He is in the top 15 in the league in scoring. He's actually 15th with 24.4 points a game. And Karl Anthony Towns is 10th with 26.2 points per game. And they are the only team in all of the NBA that has 2 players in the top 15. However, I cherry pick that stat a little bit because 16th is Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic is 8th. So there's also
it's not you didn't butter knife it too hard. Top 15 is fair. That's not too much of an arbitrary.
It's a nice round
knife.
number, right?
Yeah. So nice round number. I like it. I mean, hey, points ain't everything, and I don't know if OG has over 20 a game when he's an all-star, but I think with right defense and 18 or 19 a game, he could get there. And obviously Hart wouldn't be scoring either. But I think at least 3 all-stars, maybe 4 in the possibility. That's my hottest of hotter takes, at least for this episode. All right, before I get to my next take, and I'll warn you, it's a very cold take. It is nothing even remotely controversial, I don't think.
Right.
But I was poking around on Basketball Reference, looking for stats and things to talk about tonight. And do you know what Karl Anthony Towns is shooting from 3 right now?
Probably something stupid, ridiculous. He doesn't seem to miss.
He's over 50% from 3 right now, which is just nuts.
That's awesome.
Few players in the NBA have as cold a shot as Karl Anthony Towns right now. And while a 50% three-point percentage would be historic, it's still not as cold as cold-pressed raw coconut water. Raw coconut water is 100% pure, organic coconut water straight from Thailand's Nam Ham coconuts. A natural source of electrolytes, raw has no added sugars. Honestly, the Knicks should keep it on the sideline over other beverages, especially since raw is the best straight from the bottle. Pick up yours on Amazon or drinkraw.com today. Now I want to get into my coldest take of the night. This is literally nothing changing from anything happening right now, but it's something you and I have talked about on text and something I think we should speak into existence. The Knicks are currently 3rd in the East. They will never be lower than this position as it currently stands. I hope they get into the mix for 1 or 2, but this team is coming together. I don't see them falling below 3. This is the worst. The worst of the season is behind us. We have yet to go on a real run. Maybe it's starting right now. No 4 seed the rest of the way. 3 seed or higher from here till May.
Love it. I absolutely love it. And I verbatim was the one that texted you the other night. I was like, they don't dip below 500 again for the rest of the year.
You did text me that. I did receive that text.
Yeah. So, I'm on board with this take. This is, let's see. I mean, the season's got to play out. Everybody's got to stay healthy. You're kind of reading my mind because my next couple takes kind of touch a little bit on the same topic.
Let's go. Before we get to yours, I just want to say, obviously the Cavs 15-1 finally lost their first game last night to the Celtics.
Dude, insane run, man.
Insane run. Celtics are only 2 or 3 games behind them. They've mostly been keeping pace. Knicks are a few games behind that, but I don't think the Cavs keep up this pace. I'm sure they go through dips just like every team does. Celtics are obviously going to be tough, but I think the Knicks stay 3. Milwaukee's obviously not putting it together and off to an incredibly awful start. I'm sure at some point when you have one of the 2 or 3 best players in the NBA, you'll make a run back into a playoff seed, but there's just too much ground lost to make it into the top 3. Philly and Embiid, I have no idea what's going on there. Things seem to get worse every day.
Every day.
They're fighting in the locker room. Tyrese Maxey's crying. I love being emo, but, whatever. And in the Magic lost Paolo. The Heat looked down. I'm sure there's other – the Pacers, I'm sure, will be there by season's end. But I just don't see any of these other teams. I know everybody's talking about how weak the East is. It looks that way right now. I think some of these teams will come out of their funk and be more capable teams.
Agreed.
But I think the way things stand, the Knicks don't look back from the 3 seed and hopefully maybe even climb to 2 or in a real nice season 1.
Love that. Love that take. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the East. It looks bad right now, but with injuries, dysfunction, there's a lot of talent on these Eastern Conference teams of the ones you've mentioned for them not to be competitive by year's end. You know what I mean? And to make this a really fun playoff situation, which kind of brings me to my topic, if you'll allow me to indulge.
Absolutely. By all means, take the next 2 away.
Again, it is not. Oh, yeah, I have 2 in a row, baby. I don't think it's that cold. I don't think it's that hot. I think we as Knicks fans all believe that we can achieve this and that we are going to achieve this, and it's the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, let's go. If the Knicks don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think this season is kind of a failure. No lie.
I agree. I was trying to put my brain there, I do. I would be very disappointed. We almost did it with a broken team last year. We were one game away where we were the Walking Dead. It's so fitting that Brunson broke his hand in the final game of the year. It's like, well, everybody's gone down now, Yeah. But yeah, we're here. This team looks very well put together. Yes, there's questions at depth. I think that will be addressed. I think it'll work itself out. Just stay healthy. And that brings me to my very hot take.
Let's hear it. Give me that heat.
Let's go. The New York Knickerbockers go to the NBA Finals and win it all, baby.
Let's go. I love it. This year. I love it.
The hottest of takes. We are winning it all. Yes, let's go. That's it. Mic drop. My mic's on the stand. I can't drop it, but
hey, that's fair. We should end on that because that's the mountaintop. I love the Knicks going to the mountaintop. I do have one more take if we're going to go through and empty the clip. So, let's call this the denouement, the come down on a cold take. Let's because I love the mountaintop. Eastern Conference Finals are bust. That should be the bare minimum. Let's go to the NBA championship. Let's win that NBA championship.
I want a ticker tape parade. I've been watching
if there's a ticker tape parade, I'm flying back for it.
Oh, me too, baby. Well, I'm only driving a 4-hour drive, but still. If the Liberty gets one, we gotta match that. Come on.
I went to the Yankee parade in 2009. It was one of the better days of my life, and I need to be at a potential 2025 Knick parade.
Dang, I never went to a ticker tape, but I've been to a clinching World Series game twice.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
2009 was one of them.
That's nice. I went to an ALCS game in 2009, but not a clincher. I did go to Game 7 in the 2001 ALCS when Alfonso Soriano walked it off at the bottom of the ninth, and that was nuts. But we're a Knicks podcast, not a Yankees podcast. Yeah, Yankees podcast coming April 2025. We're going every day for that one. Watch out, Jake and John boy.
Oh boy, you don't need to watch out.
All right, but here is my closeout take. We've gone to the mountaintop already, but one more to throw at you. I kind of touched on it. We started to touch on it. We were talking about All-Stars. Josh Hart has one triple-double thus far this season. Right. I think Josh Hart finishes the season with at least 10 triple doubles. I think he just, call them the Draymond Green triple doubles, where the points are actually the hardest one to come by, even though for most those are the easiest. I think he's obviously being the rebounding help we need right now. He's part of the offense moving the ball. He's getting those assists. He seems to be trending more and more in that way, just cracking double-digit points. I think we see a lot more of what I'm calling the Draymond Green triple-double, where they're not gaudy. This isn't Russell Westbrook chasing 32s. This is just in the flow of the offense. You just happen to get 10, 10, and 10. Throw in a few steals and blocks with that, and that's why I think Josh Hart gets himself to that All-Star game this year.
Now I know why you didn't want me to pursue more of that topic earlier, but yeah, no, I can see that. I'm pro Josh Hart. I hate the term Draymond Green triple doubles because it's like I don't like Draymond Green, so it's like I don't want to give him any sort of credit. That's a me thing. But
fair.
If I could give you a stat to back that
Josh
up,
Hart's not racking up double-digit punch teammates. I can tell you that much.
No, he's not. And Jordan Poole is. What did I say to you the other day? Like they have the most the Wizards have the most mid wannabe superstars on their team.
You did say something like that.
Like Kuz and him. I'm like, ugh,
I like
gross. Kuz. But Josh Hart is in the top 20 as a shooting guard in rebounds per game in the NBA.
Just nuts. The ultimate team player. The ultimate team player.
Dude, to play that position, what is he, 6'4"? 6'5"?
Yeah, something like that.
6'4". I'm like, dude, he's the motor. We love him. We love you, Josh Hart.
Absolutely. Well, I think that wraps up our takes. We're about to watch this Knicks Suns game. Hopefully, the winning continues. But yeah, anything else you want to mention before we sign off, Marky?
No. Let's go Knicks. Let's beat the Suns. And
let's go Knicks, baby.
Pretend to be that guy that said, "Yo, KD, don't you wish you came to New York or to the Knicks or whatever?" I'm
glad he didn't, because we wouldn't be where we are right now if he did.
I agree. We trusted the process with Leon. Let's go. We're here.
Trust that process. All right. Well, that about does it for us for this week. Please follow, like, subscribe, give us your 5-star ratings, write some awesome feedback. Do that on YouTube. Do that on Spotify. Do that on Apple Podcasts. Do that everywhere. Don't forget to follow Big Knick Energy on Instagram. That's Big Knick Energy on Instagram. On Twitter, we are Big Knick Energy _. And Blue Sky should be coming soon. As for me, I'm Jon Kolnoski, JONKOLNOSKI on your Instagram machine, on Blue Sky. I never post on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok there, not on X. And don't forget, you can email in to get your questions on the air at bkepod@gmail.com. Marky, why don't you tell the people where to find you?
Just Google me, Marky Capicano. I'm out there.
That's it. Buy some Glamour Kills Kills clothing while you're at it, baby.
Kills. Yes, please do. Feed my children.
I podcast about the Knicks in my GK, you know?
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, T-idea.
T-idea. TT. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to hit all those like and subscribe and smash buttons like I just said, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.